Welcome to Marion County Today. I'm Janet Carlson, Marion County Commissioner, and we're very excited today to be able to talk about a topic that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and that is the eclipse that is coming up that will be seen, I think. The best view, right, is in Marion County, Oregon, or one of the best views.
One of the best views.
One of the best views. And our first guest today is Richard Berry. Richard, tell us what your role is with the eclipse.
Well, I live close to the center line, so I'll be observing the eclipse with telescopes and cameras.
And you're with the Astronomy Club, right? Tell us about that
I'm the
first.
president of the Night Sky Astronomy Club, Night Sky 45 Astronomy Club this year, yes.
Okay. How long have you been with that club?
About 20 years now.
Wow. And what got you interested in astronomy?
Oh, when I was a kid. When I got glasses at age 13, I could suddenly see stars in the sky. And, you know, I was interested in dinosaurs and radio and everything like that. But once I could see stars, it was like, wow, this is what I really want to do.
So this eclipse is a really big deal, right?
This is going to be a fun event, yes.
So why is it such a big deal? If someone out there hasn't heard that, you know, they've been in a mole and in a cave and they haven't heard we're having this eclipse, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen.
Well, for roughly 2 minutes, anyone who lives within the path of the shadow will be in the path of the moon's shadow, or will be in the shadow of the moon, so that the sun, which you'll see in the sky, will be completely covered by the moon. And what you'll see, first of all, the brightness will drop by a huge amount. It drops about 10 million times in brightness. So it'll all of a sudden be like 45 minutes after sunset in terms of darkness. Not black like night, but what you'll be seeing in the sky then is a black disk, the backside of the moon, surrounded by the sun's atmosphere, which is called the corona.
Okay. So that's fascinating. And so why is it that we can see it here? Kind of explain like how it crosses the United States. Do you have any sense of that?
Well, as the moon moves in its orbit, it's always casting a shadow. And there are times when the moon passes between the sun and the earth such that the shadow crosses the earth. And so here's the spinning globe and here's the moving shadow. And it just so happens this time it crosses North America. It starts in the Pacific, where it first encounters the planet. And then it moves across the globe from Oregon, across through Illinois, and then finally leaves the continent at South Carolina. And then it continues across the Atlantic Ocean.
So it's just in that line. So not everybody's going to be able to see it in the U.S., just people that are kind of in this path that. That's
right. If you're not along the path, which is about 60 miles wide, what you'll see is the sun partially covered by the moon.
I see.
So you see a crescent.
So I'm trying to figure out if I go to Boise whether or not I'm going to see it there or not.
Check the map. Make sure. Because if you're not in the zone of totality, it will simply get darker. But not that much darker. Probably enough to make the chickens go to roost or something like that, but not profoundly much darker.
So this doesn't happen very often, right?
Anywhere in the world, there's a couple eclipses a year.
Oh, really? Okay.
But to be in a place where a really good one happens, it's more like, well, if you just sat in this spot, it would be once every few hundred years. An eclipse would cross Oregon. So
for those of us living in this area, this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, right?
It's a fantastic opportunity because we don't have to travel. The eclipses I've seen before, I saw an eclipse in 1983 in Indonesia. That was a 10,000-mile trip. I went to Baja, California, and saw one in 1991 on a ship. And that was, you know, a big deal.
So you were telling me before the show that there would, and I think Commissioner Brentano is going to be talking to our health department folks about preparedness because that's a big part of it. You said you were in Queensland, is that right, for an eclipse, or
no,
you know about them?
That was the one that the Travel Oregon people were first taking as their model of a similar eclipse. What's going to happen here?
I see.
Because if an eclipse is crossing, say, Central Africa, there's far fewer people who are going to travel that far to see it.
Uh-huh.
What the United States has, as the eclipse crosses here, is a fantastic set of roads and things so that we can very
Right.
easily hop on the interstate and drive 500 miles and get to it.
So all of a sudden we're going to have a whole lot of people here that don't live here that have come here just to see the eclipse. I've heard like the hotels are all booked, campgrounds
yes.
are all booked, parks will probably be full. There's going to be a lot of people here.
That appears to be the case. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody I know who's interested in astronomy is going to be here.
And probably booked a year ago, right? At least.
The people who didn't are just beginning to realize that they missed their chance. That they're going to be, Lord knows where, in a farmer's field, cooking in the heat.
So you're going to have some special things going on with your club and with others like your club, right? That you're going to be doing during this eclipse besides just watching it. What types of things are you going to be working on?
A lot of people in the club are actually observing individually or with small groups of friends. We decided a long time ago it was difficult for the club to do something coordinated. Instead, individuals have set up arrangements with wineries and other businesses and venues in the area to help out for people who will show up and share an event at the winery or at the other place.
Okay, and then taking photos probably is a big part
And
of that.
taking photographs and telling people how to observe the eclipse safely and so forth.
So tell us about your contact in Wyoming and how you're going to be letting them know about the exposures on the pictures.
Well, a friend of mine who's also participating in an experiment to measure the gravitational deflection of starlight by the sun. This is a real science experiment. One of the key things we don't know is exactly how bright the sky will be, because it'll depend on cloud and things like that, and how bright the corona will be. We will take exposures at our site. The shadow of the moon will take about 20 minutes to get to Wyoming. We should be able to get in touch with him and tell him what exposures work best, and that he will set his camera for the optimum exposures. We'll have to be taking test shots ourselves.
So there's a lot of collaboration that goes on
There should be
between the different
yes,
groups.
yes.
Then.
Right. I mean, we're all working together right now to work out the best way to carry out some of these more science-type experiments.
So what else would you like people to know about from your perspective in terms of this great event that's coming up?
I think the most important thing is to, as it happens, look around and see everything that's going on. It's going to be really neat because as that last bit of sunlight disappears, you'll see the corona will appear in the sky. But look all around you because you'll be seeing from it, you'll be able to see outside the shadow. So overhead, you'll see darkness, dark blue sky. You should be able to see the planet Venus, some other bright stars in the sky. As you look around, you'll see outside the shadow, you'll see sunlight from areas outside the totality. Look around and observe the whole thing. And then look up at the sun and see the...
With your glasses on, right?
No.
You don't want to put those...
During totality, the brightness has dropped. It's safe for that 2-minute period to look at the sun because it's only about as bright as the full moon. During the partial phases, when the photosphere of the sun is exposed, yes, you want to. And the best way to use the glasses is to look straight across, put the glasses over your face, look up, see what you're seeing, look down, and take the glasses down. If you keep the glasses on, you're stumbling around because the glasses are totally opaque. You can't see anything excepting the sun with them on.
Well, this is fascinating, and it's so wonderful that you could come and be a guest today, and we're going to look forward. Hopefully you will have the perfect day for this eclipse, and it will all go swimmingly for you.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're back with Marion County today, and we're talking about the eclipse that's coming up, and we didn't talk about the date. When is the date of the eclipse?
It's Monday, August 21st.
August 21st, that's what I
Yes.
thought. And we are here with Maricela Guerrero.
Yes.
And you are with Travel Salem.
Yes, I am.
So what is your role with Travel Salem?
I am their destination development manager.
Destination development.
Yes.
That sounds pretty good. So,
Actually, it's a really fun job.
so how long have you been with Travel Salem?
2 years now.
2 years, really. And what
Yes.
did you do before then?
I worked for an organization called the Alliance for a Healthier Generation, which did really work with schools around school health and things like that. So yeah.
So you really have an interest in this kind of event then?
Yes,
From a
there's-
lot of
yes,
different perspectives.
exactly.
So Travel Salem's been a big organizer around the Eclipse. What kinds of things is Travel Salem working on to prepare and talk about the different aspects of preparing for the Eclipse? I think there's preparing media-wise, and there's preparing like destination-wise, and then of course we're going to be talking in the next segment about preparing from a family preparedness kind of perspective.
So in terms of Travel Salem and the work that we've been doing around this, we've really been trying to work with the community, businesses, community organizations in terms of getting them the information about that there is an eclipse coming and providing that type of information for them, connecting them with the local resources, bringing together meetings where we are bringing our large stakeholders, our state agencies, cities and counties, really come together and starting that planning process, which we have been for about the past couple of years in a consistent manner. So that is really kind of our role on top of the marketing aspect of it, and ensuring that working with our lodging partners, our restaurants and things like that, to just make sure everybody has the information they need to make it a smooth and a great experience.
So we're estimating there's going to be a lot of people coming for it.
Yes.
So you have any round numbers that you think are in terms of how many
Yeah.
people are going to be in this area?
Yeah, we're looking probably estimating about 75,000. About 75,000.
75,000.
Yeah, 75,000 to 100,000, somewhere in there. Really, if you take into consideration our drive path, or our drive market, we are smack dab, as Richard had mentioned in the previous segment, was we have I-5 that's running north south, 22 east west, and then we have 97 and a couple other major ones that go through, which people, and there's a large population that live very close, that are within driving range. For example, Portland is not in the path of Tatali, as neither is Eugene. So we have those two that are within that driving market that will come up and along the path.
So that's 75,000 for the whole, like all the way up in the canyon too? Or
Yes, we're looking at the region. So we're looking, as Travel Salem covers Polk and Marion County, that's kind of what we're focusing on, those two areas.
And then the reports we heard were that hotels have been booked, everything's booked.
Well, there is still some availability in our in hotels here in the area. We're about 95%. So a lot of them is you really do need to call and see where they are. We do have a list on travelsalem.com that has the hotels and things like that listed on there, where people can look at if they're looking for lodging. We do know our state parks are totally full. They went very quickly when they went out on their reservation system. We do have several camping opportunities that are out there along the canyon area also that still have availability for people if they're looking for camping spots.
Right. And traffic's probably going to be kind of an issue, right?
Yes, we've been working with ODOT and trying to keep up to date about what they're doing around that. They're planning. Their number is about 1 million visitors statewide, and so they're really looking at the safety, keeping traffic moving, and things like that. So we will have an influx of people. There are several key events happening in the area that have 8,000. 6,000, 1,200 people attending, so we will have an influx of people.
Now, what I heard, I'm thinking it might have been from Ed Flick, our emergency manager, when we were having a meeting, is that they think people will kind of get in and get settled, and on Monday, if they're camping or whatever, they'll probably stay where they are. I mean, some people will leave, but they don't think people will just get up right after the eclipse and start driving.
Yeah.
But Tuesday, it's going to be kind of like a big traffic day. Is that your hunch on it?
Yeah,
too?
we're really asking the events that are being planned to try to go a little bit later to keep people longer, so we don't have that huge influx of traffic as soon as the eclipse is over. People are trying to get out, and so that's what we're really trying to work and try to get them to stay a little bit longer than that, and really, and then enjoy the area. If you're here an extra day or two, then you really do get to enjoy what Marion County can provide.
And you've got all kinds of information about that too at Travel Salem, right? You've got like a a cafe, an internet,
Yes.
and talk about that a bit.
So we have our visitor center that has all our information, and people, if we have visitors coming into the area, they can stop by and look for other things to do while they are in the area for that. We do have through travelsalem.com, we have an Eclipse landing page where it lists all the events going on in the area. Also, it has what we call an interactive map on it. So that logs the location of the event within the path of totality. So you can say, well, maybe I want to do the Volcano Stadium, and you'll go in there and you can take a look and it will show you exactly where that is within the path.
Well, that'd be kind of fun to go to the Volcano Stadium. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
so
they
got
have
a big parking lot too.
They do have a big parking lot, and they're having games all weekend, fireworks. They're doing a family brew fest, and they are also the first professional baseball game that will happen or will be delayed because of an eclipse.
Oh, fun.
So they're getting some really good media coverage around that.
Any other events that you want to highlight?
Yeah, we have the Volcano Stadium. We also have the State Capitol. It will be open during the weekend for tours, and then there will also have a concert in the mall area during that weekend. There's events going on up and down the canyon, the North San Am Canyon for River Fusion, starting from Umsville up through Detroit Lake. So Staten and Mill City are also having events during that time.
So a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, yes.
So I wanted to talk before we run out of time about cell phones. So this is what I've heard, that there's a strong possibility that there's going to be so many extra people here, and they're going to be taking pictures and trying to post pictures and downloading, and it could like collapse the whole system. Tell us what you know about that.
Well, I'm probably not the expert to ask on that one. And just in terms of the
information. Are you planning for that, or have people been talking about that?
Yeah, people are talking about that, and I know since we'll have a larger amount of people in the area, it will tax the system, and so we do recommend people to ensure that their cell phones are charged up, have an extra battery. But then that also is on the internet part. So with businesses, to ensure they have cash, ATM. I mean, it just kind of affects all of it.
Yeah, it could actually shut down retail and stuff too.
Well, if you're using the
Square
or anything like that. So it's really encouraging businesses to be ready for that potential.
Okay. So what else do people need to know from your perspective about this eclipse?
Well, from this perspective, this will be one of the greatest, one of those events that will be happening that you can actually see from your front yard or your backyard. And so, as though, being local residents and being in the area, one thing is being ready and be prepared to be patient, because we will have people coming in, but the other thing is really to get out there and enjoy it, and to take advantage of this that will be happening right in our backyard.
All right, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate all the information.
Thank you.
And give us that website name again.
travelsalem.com.
Okay, and we'll put that on the end on the credits too, so people can know about that.
All right,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet.
Hi, I'm Sam Brentano, Marion County Commissioner. We're going to continue our discussion on the eclipse. Now, I have to start with some stuff. I kind of remember one, and they said it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing earlier, so maybe I shouldn't be able to participate in this one. But it's like 79. I went outside, it was real special, but we didn't have like 100,000 people coming, so I don't know quite what to make of it, but we're ready for whatever happens. And I'm here with two very interesting people. The first is Krista Carter from Marion County Emergency Management. Krista, hello.
Thank you.
And I've worked with you a long time over the years. And our doctor with the health department, Karen Landers, Marion County Health Officer. So I don't know where I want to start, but maybe I'll just go down the list as they have it for me. Oh, I have to introduce. Talk about what your roles are. Krista, would you go
Sure.
first?
So I have been with Marion County for about 20 years now, and the last 15 have been in emergency management. So we basically develop the plans for cases like this to help people respond. How the county is going to respond, how public safety is going to respond to natural hazards, which this is it's a Mother Nature.
So the last 6 months or so, you've been spending a lot of effort on this subject. I know you have.
A lot
you're
on
ready
the eclipse.
to go. It's
Before
coming.
that, it was the earthquake. So
Oh,
now
well,
we've
that's
just
still
gone
possible.
to, yes, we just hope it doesn't happen during the eclipse.
And Dr. Landers, you talk about yourself.
I've been with the health department for 25 years, and we at the health department are involved in protecting the public's health. So we are looking out for the food that people eat. We're also investigating communicable diseases and providing immunization services for the community.
All right, let me just kind of go down the list here. Krista, so what's Marion County, you're kind of getting at it, doing to prepare for the event? Specific plans, if you can, or thinking that you've done.
Well, the first message, excuse me, that we want to get across is we want people to enjoy the event and to have fun, but to be safe doing it. And the traffic flow is going to be a big concern for us, whether it is the blocked freeways, people being on the freeways, stuck there for hours, coming from, we talked about earlier, coming from, a long distance away and then being stuck somewhere in the middle of the road instead of being able to get to their destination to see where they're going to see the eclipse. So we are very much watching that. We have, ODOT has been pre-positioned in locations. Marion County Public Works will be pre-positioned in locations to keep that traffic flowing. So that's one of the larger issues that we have.
I'm sure you've given some thought of talking about it with people that I have. The weather's so dependent here. And for example, if it's cloudy out at the coast, a rush coming into the valley to make sure they don't miss it if they cared enough to come here to see it. And then if it's cloudy here on east. So with really only one route, east and west, that could get crowded.
They're not going to keep up with it. If they think they're going to drive it and keep up with it, they won't. It moves too fast.
That was my plan.
So I thought that would be kind of cool to drive in the darkness the whole way over, but no, it won't happen. That's the reason why Oregon is getting so many visitors, is because we do have some of the best weather that we have. So yeah.
So in one of the earlier segments, they talked about people maybe staying at home or in your own without putting additional strain on the roadways and making it available. So. What are you telling people to get ready for the number of peoples that'll be here? Emergency management, preparedness. What's the message you want out there?
We want to let them know to gas up, to get some gas before the rush comes. So Thursday, Friday at the latest, fill your gas tanks, all of them, all the cars that you have. So it'll cut down on some of the lines that we have. The grocery store, stock up on some groceries so you won't have to make that trip on Sunday or Monday or maybe even Tuesday when there's a lot of traffic out there. There's also, we want them to possibly stay home if they can. Reschedule their doctor's appointments so they don't have to go out on that day, and just enjoy it for that day and be patient. There's going to be lines, there's going to be traffic. We're not sure what's going to happen with maybe the ATM systems, so get some cash out. We just don't know. People are saying it's kind of like a Y2K thing, and maybe it is, but we don't know what's going to happen.
I was at lunch with Rob Ferris from Ferris Lumber just to show people are thinking about it. His people will be off and his trucks won't be on the road. So little bits, but if everybody's thinking about it, makes it better.
But in public safety, we don't get that choice. We have to be on the road, and we have to be out there.
And then quickly, before I lose too much time,
Yes.
campfire safety, different precautions that you're afraid of or thinking about planning for.
A lot of out-of-towners are coming and they don't realize that is our highest wildland fire season. That's just right and smack dab in the middle of it. So please make sure that wherever they're staying, if they're camping, that you are able to have campfires where you're at. Put them out before you leave. Cigarette butts, put them out, dispose of them properly. And fireworks, because we are pretty strict on fireworks in Oregon, so we just want to make sure.
Water safety, what's your concern there? It's on the list here.
Yeah, we have had a lot of drownings in Marion County, and that's just with the heat that comes, and they go out to the North Fork, and they don't understand that they're hot, they're fatigued, they're dehydrated. So life vests is a big thing. So you're kind of
thinking a lot of visitors into the area using
Detroit.
Whatever waterways they can find and not knowing how they really work here.
Because it'll be warm, knowing that the Willamette has a strong current also.
It does.
Wear a life jacket.
So, Dr. Landers, I want to get at, so I heard something a moment ago, and this is off the schedule, but that said that you could look at the sun in totality and not be dangerous. But how do people know when to get there? Do you really want your kids trying to decide if it's time or not? Or tell us everything you can about these glasses and what we should be doing to protect ourselves, and what happens if we don't.
Right. So the actual time that it's safe to look at the eclipse without any eye protection is during totality. That's when the moon is completely covering up the sun. Now, that is scheduled to happen for a little under 2 minutes here in the Salem area at 10:17 a.m. That's the time that's being posted. But from 9 o'clock, a little after 9 o'clock in the morning until 11:30 or a little after 11:30, the moon is going to be in the process of covering up the sun and uncovering up the sun after that little 2-minute window of being completely covered. And during those times when the sun is only partially covered, people need to be wearing eye protection, special solar filters. This is an example of a pair of glasses that you can wear to protect your eyes. These are available for purchase at many of the local retailers and online. They're very inexpensive. When you're getting your glasses, people should look for the ISO number, which should be on the glasses somewhere. And the number should say 12312-2. That is an indication that these glasses that you've purchased are certified to be safe for protection for viewing the eclipse. Now, there are some clues when you're watching the partial eclipse about when you're going to get to totality. And there are many videos online that can help you, but there are a couple of signals. One is Bailey's pearls. As the moon is almost completely covering up the sun, there'll be some little bumps on the side, and that's actually where the light is showing through the valleys of the moon. You need to keep your glasses on for that. The next stage is the diamond ring effect, and that's where there's just a little tiny bit of the sun left, and there's a little bit of glow around it. It looks like a ring. You need to keep your glasses on for that. Once that's gone, you're in totality, and it's safe to remove your glasses. The exact reverse will happen at the end of the totality period, 1 minute 54 seconds in Salem. You'll start to see a little crescent at the bottom on the opposite side. That's your indication to put the glasses back on.
And then, so condition of the glasses, trouble you can get into?
Right. So when you purchase your glasses, or if you have a pair of glasses, you need to check them and make sure there are no scratches or any punctures in them, because any light that gets through can damage your eyes.
And what is the damage?
The damage is that when any of the solar rays enter the front of your eye, they're focused onto the back of your eye, our retina. It's very similar to a magnifying glass being put on over a leaf
So
with the
literally
sun.
burn.
Right, it will burn. There are no pain receptors in the back of your eye, so you will not be aware that there's anything wrong or anything is going wrong. And the damage to your vision usually will not show up until a few hours to a
Anyway,
day later.
Sum it up, be careful, make sure you have the glasses. If you're going to try to look at it during totality, make sure it's totality, work with your kids on it.
Watch your children,
We've run out of
supervise them.
time, but you want to say something about food safety real quick too, if it's important?
It's important during this time of year to be sure that you're being careful with outdoor foods. So keep cold things cold, warm things
If you have
warm.
events during the eclipse or
Right.
whatever, think of it, still the same rules apply.
Right.
Well, the event's coming up pretty quickly, August 21st, and I think Marion County's been working a long time on it, giving it some thought. We think we're ready to go. Whether there'll be a whole bunch of people or not, I don't know. And I'm really anxious. We'll see what happens. So get your glasses, be careful, and have a good time, I think is the message today.